Hello, welcome to the fifth in this series of training videos for the Heavy Job Mobile application. In this video, we're going to cover time card entry for employee and equipment hours and attendance codes. In previous videos, we've looked at the diary, adding photos, and getting the employees and equipment or your crew on the time card. So for this video, we will just be looking at adding the hours and employee and equipment attendance and non-use codes. As usual, we will start by tapping on the HCSS field icon on your mobile device. And because I have an existing time card for a different date, I'm going to tap on the history button and I'm going to go to that date and open that existing time card. This was a time card that was created in a previous video, so we already have the employees and equipment on the time card. We already have two cost codes on the time card. Time entry on the mobile app is very simple, but there are some tricks to help make it easier for you. The first thing that you should realize with time entry is you can select any of the individual boxes for the employee or equipment time under any cost code. So for example, if I wanted to select these two boxes, and if I entered 4 and said done, it would enter 4 hours for both of those boxes. If I selected this box and this box and this box and this box and did 4 hours and said done, it would put 4 hours in all of those. There are some options if your crew all worked the same amount of time on a cost code. A long tap on any of the columns under any cost code, select entire column, and basically it does the same thing as if you had tapped on each one of those individual squares and selected it. It's selecting all of them for you, and so you can say that 4 hours and done, and it's going to put 4 hours in that column. The other option here with a long tap is select all employees. So let's say that all of the employees had 3 hours and done, and it's just going to update the employees. Again, long tap, select all equipment, and I could say all equipment had 0 hours, and it would enter that. So it gives you a lot of different options, but most of the time you're going to either select an entire column or select the individual's employees and equipment that worked on that cost code, enter the time that you want for those items, and tap done to make that entry. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to make this very simple so we can look at some other options. I'll select the entire column. I'll put 4 hours in this cost code, 4 hours in this cost code, and then for my foreman I'll select the one box and I'll do 4 hours of regular time and 1 hour of overtime. Did you notice that for overtime I tapped in the second field and entered the hour? If there were double time, I could tap in that third field and enter hours there. The other thing that works, if that's not there and I'm here, I can do 4 hours. I can tap the slash and it would automatically move me to the overtime box. Tap the slash again and it would move me to the double time box. So whatever works for you. If you want to enter the hours, tap the slash. I'm going to put 1 hour of overtime and say done. And now I have a very simple time card where the entire crew worked 8 hours with the exception of the foreman who has the 1 hour of overtime. So that covers the time entry, the basics of time entry. Now we want to look at some other options using employee attendance codes and equipment non-use codes. So I'm going to tap on this first employee, and let's just say that he came in 2 hours late. So he worked 2 hours on that cost code, but I need to account for the rest of the time. So I will use an attendance non-use code. Tap on attendance non-use, and I'm going to say that he was unexcused for the other 2 hours because he came in late. When I say done, you'll notice that on the far right side for that employee, it is showing that he is going to be paid for 6 hours. On this time card, I've accounted for 8 hours. 2 worked on the first cost code, 2 unexcused. Now, normally when you use an attendance code, and we covered this in the previous video, you would also tap on the employee and you would enter a note and explain why you use that. So I'm going to say that he came in late, and I'll just say done. And you can see on the left-hand side of the time card in that employee box, I've got the little colored key in the corner that indicates that there's a note for that employee. Now, with the equipment, you have the same type of functionality. Tap on that equipment. Obviously, if my operator wasn't there, nobody was running that piece of equipment for those 2 hours. So I will say that that piece of equipment ran for 2 hours while the operator was there, and then tap on attendance non-use and say that it was just on standby for the other 2 hours. So I want to account for the full shift for that piece of equipment using the attendance and non-use codes. Another use of the equipment non-use codes is when the equipment breaks down. So let's look at this water truck, and on the last code here, I'll say that it ran for 1 hour and then tap on the attendance non-use code and say it was down for 3 hours. I'm accounting for the shift with that piece of equipment using the attendance and non-use codes. On that same piece of equipment, I will tap on that equipment on the left side and enter a note that it had let's say it had a flat tire, and done. So basically, that's the time entry for the Heavy Job mobile app. Select the squares that you want to make your entry in, enter the hours, tap done, and be sure on the hour entry side that you are using the attendance and non-use codes to account for an employee's full shift, their full scheduled shift. That concludes this video. Thank you.